It's Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. Let's talk about the news. From the Associated Press, crisis over suspected Iran schoolgirl poisonings escalates. The Iranian government has officially acknowledged that more than 50 schools across 21 of the country's 30 provinces have been hit by attacks in which schoolgirls have been poisoned. Media reports suggest the actual number of schools could be over 60. The first of these alleged attacks was carried out in November of last year, and though the Iranian Interior Minister hasn't given specifics, he has said that the government collected, quote, suspicious samples, end quote, during investigations into these poisonings, and reports indicate that at least 400 school children have fallen ill with a variety of symptoms since that original November attack, though no fatalities linked to these attacks have been reported. It's suspected that these attacks might be similar to the 2014 wave of acid attacks against women perpetrated by religious hardliners who wanted to punish women for dressing in ways they considered to be unseemly. And that suspicion is supported by the recent wave of women protesting against what they consider to be government oppression and a hardliner pushback against those protests. Though the Iranian government has tried to spin this as an effort by shadowy, unspecified foreign enemies, which is something they do fairly often, without ever providing evidence for this assertion. From the New York Times, Ukrainian soldiers nearly encircled push Russians back. Despite reports from leaders on both sides of the conflict suggesting that their side has taken over the city, pushing the other side out, third-party sources indicate that Ukrainian forces still hold parts of the eastern Ukrainian city, Bakhmut, though Russian forces, which have been trying to take the city for months and which have pounded it into rubble with artillery during that time, continue their assault. Bakhmut has reportedly become the center of Russia's attention, the idea being to grab and occupy it as a strategically and symbolically important eastern city in a part of the country they've claimed as their own, which could then theoretically help them reignite morale and get momentum back on their side. Some reports suggest that this battle has been so extended and frictionful, though, that Russian forces are running out of ammo, in some cases forced to attack using shovels and other hand-to-hand weapons, while the leader of the Wagner Group, a Russia-affiliated band of mercenaries and prisoners, says that his people are on the front lines, holding the attacking force together, but their efforts are being hobbled by leaders of the Central Russian Military Command, who are publicly signing off on more ammo for the group, but either accidentally or intentionally, setting things up so most of that ammo never arrives. Many recent reports suggest that Ukrainian forces are in the process of a slow fighting retreat meant to further grind Russian forces down as they leave, while others suggest they could try for a counteroffensive, while Russian forces are centralized but weak. One way or another, it's assumed that something will give in this area in the near future, though the city itself is unlikely to serve as anything more than a symbol of victory for whomever takes it, as there's just not much left standing thereabouts at this point. And from The Hill, Trump easily wins CPAC straw poll. Despite generally impressive numbers from Florida governor and potential 2024 Republican presidential candidate Ron DeSantis, a poll taken at this year's Conservative Political Action Conference, or CPAC, showed a commanding win for former President Trump, giving him 62% of the vote compared to DeSantis's 20%. DeSantis has not formally announced a run for president, and thus hasn't yet done a big push to get his numbers up, but Republican establishment media entity Fox News has reportedly soft-banned Trump on their network, and other Republican candidates seem to be working together in small ways to counter his influence on the party, like centrist Republican and former governor of Maryland, Larry Hogan, who announced last week he would not run for president, in part because he didn't want to divide the anyone but Trump vote between a bunch of different candidates. So while Trump seems to enjoy a commanding lead right now, there's a chance those numbers could drop in the near future as the 2024 race really starts to shape up and powerful elements of the party begin to unify against him. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com, and you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts, at understandery.com.